Alright, so you may or may not have seen this a lot in Go Battle League. Well, Taunter's been always really good for Go Battle League. So if you're wondering what Pokemon you want to use for Halloween Cup, and you're probably, if you don't have Shadow Beedrill, which you pretty much don't even need Shadow Beedrill, Haunter's another great option. And guess what? They just had a community day, so you probably have a good Haunter for PvP, or you're able to build one. So what makes Haunter so strong is that it has a stupid high attack. It's the glass cannon from the underworld, and it brings a lot of nostalgia because it's this Gen 1 monster that's just absolutely destructive, and it really does it outputs a lot of damage, especially with Shadow Punch and Shadow Ball. Now, unlike Gengar, it already has Shadow Punch, so Gengar, like I said, Haunter's always been good for Go Battle League, and for Halloween Cup, it's really freaking good. Here's the reason why. Because Haunter just outputs so much damage. Now, other than Dark and Ghost itself, so Dark and Ghost, you should be really careful. And you should also be careful of psychic types because yeah, have you ever seen Haunter eat Confusion? It really sucks. So anyways, like I said, Dark and Ghost, that's what you really want to be careful for because you're going to see a lot of these in a Halloween Cup. However, there's also, if you look, Dark and Ghost, yeah, it's weak against that. But you know what? It also resists Bug, Poison, and Fairy. So it resists over half of the typings in Halloween Cup. That's what makes Haunter really interesting. Like I said before, 9 times out of 10, if you played Community, you'll likely have one for PvP. You're just waiting to use it. Or you already used it before, and it's took a lot of souls. Or you're thinking about using it, and you might want to use it after this video, because it's actually really good in the lead. So, like I said, Haunter's a little expensive though, 50 grand in dust. But like I said, had Community Day before, so because Big Ghost Thick Boy, well, he's not actually really thick, he's actually really glassy, because Glass Boy is really, really, really available. Well, if you played with him before, you should have a Haunter ready for Go Battle League, and specifically for Halloween Cup. But like I said, really good. Yes, you lose against Dark and Ghost. However, you do pick up the other half, or majority of the half, because you beat Bug, you resist Bug, Poison, and Fairy typings, and that's what makes Haunter really good for the Halloween Cup, especially in the lead. Like, you'll be surprised just like how effective. Like, it can break a lot of shields, and it's really strong. We'll figure out. You'll see in a sec. Okay, so I prepped the Matrix ahead of time for you guys for PvPoke. As you see here, the quick thing, Haunter is number 2 in the lead. You 666 Azumarill straight to hell. Not really. But like I said, it's really strong against Azumarill. That's probably one of the key things. It beats Azu. You beat Venusaur, you beat Beedrill. Beedrill, considering, well, yeah, it's the number 1. You lose against Haunter. So, like I said, Beedrill actually loses to Haunter. The Shadow version loses against Haunter too, just because you resist Poison Jab. You double resist Poison Jab because of the Ghost and the Poison typing. So like, as you see here, very, very powerful lead. You lose against Umbreon, Shadow Mawile, Wormadam, Travis, Wireless, and Alolan Muck. But there's some you can play around this. So you'll see, I'll show you all scenarios with Haunter in the lead right now. So here's the Matrix. I put Haunter with Shadow Claw, Shadow Punch, and Shadow Ball. I even put the Sludge Bomb variant in here too. So I put all 3 combinations in here that you should use, or you're thinking about using. So if you're thinking about using Sludge Bomb and Shadow Ball, let's find out if it's really good or not. Halloween Cup meta, you hit the battle sim, and here's your recipe for disaster. Alright, so we got Haunter with So Haunter will beat Azumarill in the 2 shield in the lead with all 3 movesets. So in other words, you don't really need Shadow Punch. You can, wait, hold on, wait, that's Sludge Bomb. Yeah, Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball. Yeah, so let's take a look at this one. With the Sludge, I think you just straight Sludge Bomb. Yeah, you literally just straight Sludge Bomb and you still beat Azu. But that's the Play Rough Hydro Pump variation. I'm not sure if Ice Beam... Do you flip the Ice Beam matchup? Yes, you do. So you still flip the Ice Beam. You even flip the Ice Beam matchup, as you see right here. So you'll still win with a little bit. You can have a high... This is cutting it really close. So I'd have a really good IV one. What's the IVs for this one? 615. Okay, so there's still some attack with this Haunter, so you don't have to really worry about that one that much. This isn't a rank 1 Azu either, so like let's put rank 1 Azu in here, which is 8, 15, 15. And let's just put it rank 1 Azu versus this entire thing. As you see, Haunter still wins with 3 HP, so the IVs don't really matter too much. If you have a good, like, I think, how about a high attack one? So let's do this. 8, 8, 8... 8, 15, we'll do 15, 10, 15, something like that, and then we'll do this. Okay, so Azu with good IVs can win. So if it's an attack weight Haunter, you can't. So I would definitely consider getting some bulk in here. For example, 6, 15, 8 was that thing. So yeah, attack weight Haunter is not the way to go for Halloween Cub. So definitely bulk matters. But you like you see in this sim right here, you don't actually need Shadow Punch to bait shields. You can just go straight Sludge Bomb to take out Azu. Both Azus actually. You'll beat Beedrill without Shadow Punch either. So Haunter isn't very bait dependent, which is really good. It's kind of bad it's kind of bad if you face Fortress in the lead if you do want to run Sludge Bomb and Shadow Ball, because you need that bait move to take out Fortress. But even with the Shadow Punch Shadow Ball variant, I mean the Sludge Bomb Shadow Ball variant, you still beat Azu. So Sludge Ball, so Shadow. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, Shadow Punch Sludge Bomb will still beat Azu, so it's still very strong. So as long as you can bait the shields with Shadow Punch, you're still good to go. As you see here, the interesting thing is with Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb, you actually beat Galvantula. And Galvantula being buffed with Infestation, etc., is probably gonna. It might end up being more powerful, but as you see here, you do beat Galvantula. You'll double shield both discharges, so you have to use both shields. But Sludge Bomb actually takes out Galvantula. Why doesn't? So if you go straight Shadow Ball, okay, so let's take out Sludge Bomb. Is it because of the energy cost? No, you could just straight Shadow Ball too, so it really doesn't matter. I guess that, yeah, it really doesn't matter. So you can Shadow Ball, yeah. So Sludge Ball, that doesn't make any sense. Why do you lose in this scenario if you have Shadow Punch? Because you could just pop both shields. Oh, because it double baits. Okay, that makes sense. So if you bait... So you'll pop both shields. So just go straight, block both, and then just expend both of your shields, I suppose, instead of going for 2 shields. So the reason why this sim doesn't work is because they get that extra volt switch, and that's what the volt switch is actually what kills you. So if you so don't worry about this scenario. As long as you pop both shields and just shoot one Shadow Ball or Sludge Bomb, you can win. And I think that holds true for Shadow Ball. If you don't bait with, if you don't bait with moves. So this is important to remember. Don't bait with low shields right here, and then you go straight, and then Haunter can still win. As long as you don't bait. Well, actually, it's still a neutral matchup, but you still win the ones. Okay. But it looks like, yeah, don't. So against Galvantula, just don't bait, and then I think Sludge Bomb is what takes it out. That's really interesting. Anyways, so if you go to if you go 2-shot Haunter, I think it's the same situation with Haunter itself. If you get the mirror, you just go straight for. You go straight. Okay, so you bait. You just shield, and then you Shadow Claw down. So this is kind of weird. This is kind of iffy though, because you could, yeah, that's right. So if you want to win the mirror, don't actually throw anything, just shield, and then just Shadow Claw down, and then just save all that energy. So that's what you can do, Haunter, if you get the mirror. That's if you get the mirror, though. Yeah, you beat Alolan Marowak in all 3 scenarios, so it doesn't matter which moveset. The interesting is you do beat Alolan Muck if you have Shadow Punch, Shadow Ball, and I'm guessing that's because it's bait dependent. So as long as you hit a Shadow Ball all Alolan Muck, you will win. Actually, let's take a look at the sim real quick. Because Amok is very, very powerful in this meta. If you have an Amok, you're really ahead of the game. Yeah, it's because you bait. So you double bait with Shadow Punch, and then you Shadow Ball for the W. But that's what Shadow Punch, Shadow Ball. So Shadow Punch, Shadow Ball does flip Alolan Muck in the lead. And you pretty much beat everything else you're supposed to. But you'll get... Wait, why do you lose... Oh yeah, because Jigglypuff has 2 shields. I mean, Wigglytuff has 2 shields. So that's the 2 shields. So in the lead, like I said, very powerful. If you see all the neutral matchups here, I'd look deeper into them. But like, really, it's just like bait dependent. Bait or whether or not you want to use shields or not. So if you want to take a look at that, I double check and take a look at like how you want to play Haunter with your team. Now this is the one shield. So in the one shield with Shadow Punch, as long as you with Shadow Punch you beat Beedrill and you beat. So you'll still beat both versions of Azu in the one shield. You'll lose against Beedrill because you can't bait, and you lose against Drifblim because you can't bait either. So every other variation, this is something worthy to look at if you are looking to run Sludge Bomb, Shadow Punch. You will lose against Drifblim. You lose some really key matchups if you run Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball. So if you run double nukes, it's really weird. So let's take a look at this sim real quick as to why does this do something. Oh, it's because you Shadow Punch down. So the one shield, you'll Shadow Punch. That's what the scenario is. So I'm guessing it's the same thing for Beedrill. You straight Shadow Punch, or you Shadow Punch bait and then you Shadow Ball. Yeah, you Shadow Punch bait and then you Shadow. Oh, you just straight Shadow Punch. So Shadow Punch does win a lot of matchups in the one shield if you just straight Shadow Punch. compared to Shadow Ball, which makes sense because of energy. So as you see here, anything really interesting that you do beat Golbat with Shadow Punch. So it looks like Shadow Punch and Shadow Ball still beats a lot of things. You'll still beat Azu with Shadow Punch, Shadow Ball. The 666 is hilarious. So Sludge Wave, Sludge Bomb, and Sludge Wave. You'll still beat it just going straight Shadow Ball. Shadow Punch, and then Shadow Ball for the W. And then you Shadow Claw down. So Haunter, like you don't really need to run Sludge Wave, but let's look at this more. So you go down here. We're moving down. So Shadow Punch, Shadow Ball. So Shadow Punch takes out a little Marowak because you're able to bait the shield and then Shadow Punch down. You beat Qwilfish. So it looks like the Shadow Punch, the classic Shadow Ball Shadow Punch variant actually wins. So it looks like the Shadow Punch Shadow Ball, right, the OG moveset, actually takes out a lot of mons. You take out stuff just going straight Shadow Punch, and then you nuke with the end with Shadow Ball. You actually take out Skuntank, and if you have Sludge Bomb, you don't actually beat Skuntank. This is kind of huge. Because I can see a lot of Skuntanks being used, so then just be careful. So like I said, Skuntank, I could see it being used a lot, so then I would definitely just Shadow Punch, Shadow Ball, in my opinion, looks like the way to go. Sludge Wave, yes, because of fairies, but really the only fairy you're looking out for the Halloween Cup is Wigglytuff. And, like, sacrificing that bait ability with Shadow Punch doesn't look like it's worth it. So, really the only thing you target using the Sludge Bomb variant is really Wigglytuff. Other than that, Shadow Punch, Shadow Ball is the way to go. You still lose against Umbreon. You still lose against Dark types regardless. So, like, anything that's Dark will wreck shop. But, yeah, you'll still lose against Dark types regardless. So, I wouldn't worry about it too much. So, yeah. You'll still lose against what you're supposed to, but the only one you really target with Sludge Bomb, again, is Wigglytuff. So that's the one shield. Here's the zero shield real quick. There's the zero shield. Let's go to zeros. And let's see if Sludge Bomb actually does anything in the zero shield. That Shadow Ball, Shadow Punch doesn't actually do. So we're taking a look at the map over here. Let's see. So it looks like in the zeros, you do need Sludge Bomb to kill Azu. I can see Azu being used a lot, so it really depends on what you want to cover, in my opinion, as far as closer goes. Because if you get Azu versus Haunter in the mirror and you got a Sludge Bomb, that's a very dangerous scenario in the first place. But you still lose against the player of Ice Beam variant just because Ice Beam, I believe one Ice Beam eats you to oblivion. So let's see, does it? So I think it's Ice Beam. Yeah, you just Ice Beam. So it's because Ice Beam costs less energy. So because Ice Beam costs less energy, you just Ice Beam. They'll throw you in the next Ice Age and you'll die twice. If Haunter's not already dead, because it's already Ghost. Basically. So that's what it is. It depends on what you want to cover. You still don't convincingly beat Azu. If that Azu has Ice Beam, you still die. With Shadow Ball, Shadow Punch, you beat Beedrill because you just Shadow Ball it to death. You Shadow Ball Drifblim to death. And interesting enough, you still beat it. Well, do you just straight Shadow Punch it for Drifblim? Because Drifblim's really good for Halloween Cup. Well, I'll do an analysis on it later. Because it's one of those few things with like Icy Wind that's like really interesting. Especially because of the new Hex buff. And you do in fact just Shadow Punch down. So let's see. Let's go down the line here. With Shadow Ball, Shadow Punch, you still beat everything you're supposed to. As usual. Anything interesting that really makes a difference? Let's see. No, actually. So Shadow Ball, Shadow Punch will still actually beat everything. Not having, like I said, Sludge Bomb for Azu, like it's very situational. If they have Ice Beam, we're gonna die anyway. So just pray they don't have Ice Beam if you get the closer. And yeah, Sludge Bomb. So it looks like, yeah, it looks pretty. There's not really anything interesting in the closer. You lose super hard against Shadow Punch, Shadow Ball, Haunter in the mirror if you have Shadow Ball, Shadow Sludge Bomb. So yeah, it's gonna suck a lot. Especially since they could just Shadow Claw you down after they shield once. So there's nothing really interesting in the closer as far as I see that's like super interesting. That like that Sludge Wave like actually flips. It looks like you'll Shadow Ball Shadow Ball down. The only thing that you in the closer that you'll lose against is Wigglytuff, just because it's a normal type. So Wigglytuff actually walls you. Ironically, and it will just Ice Beam you to oblivion. So, like, remember when I mentioned about Ice Beam? Yeah, you just get sent to the next Ice Age. Actually, you don't even get to sent to the next Ice Age, you just get charmed down. Dang, dude! Okay, so... Alright, cool. But yeah, looking here, there's no notable matchups in the closer except the Azumarill. That Shadow Punch and Shadow Ball won't kill. And again, that's if Azu doesn't have Ice Beam. So it looks like even in the closer, it looks like Shadow Punch and Shadow Ball is here to stay. Alright, so here's a summary. Like I said, it looks like Sludge Bomb has play. But like I said, the only thing you really target is Wigglytuff and Azu. So yes, you could target Wigglytuff, but like I said, if that Azu has Ice Beam, you're iced. You're done. You're gonna get GG. So it may or may not be worth it, but definitely Sludge Bomb does have play if you want to use it. If you want to cover fairies base. If you have no fairy coverage, then yes. So I'm gonna run a training sim to summary. But for this summary, we're going to use Haunter with Shadow Punch. In my opinion, Shadow Punch and Shadow Ball just have too much play versus the Sludge Wave variant. Because the only ones you target realistically are Azu and, like I said, well, like just fairy typings. So we're going to do this. Well, I like using the Alolan Muck Haunter like Azu core just because it's really strong regardless of where you put this core at. They cover each other so well and they just do a lot of damage and they have a decent amount of bulk. So here we're gonna do the training sim, Shadow Claw, Shadow Punch, Shadow Ball, and we're gonna let it rip. So here we go. Haunter versus Skuntank. Now we win here as long as we could straight Shadow Punch here. I'm gonna build the ball. And we're gonna try to we'll play the bait game. Because as long as I land a Shadow Ball, we win this. Or we can possibly bait both shields. Now obviously I'm gonna have to shield both. I'm gonna have to shield the Skuntank's moves, but it's alright. Shadow Claw does generate a ton of energy. That's what makes this moveset really, really good. We're gonna shield both. And we do get to the Shadow Punch before Skuntank actually gets there. And you win CMP with Haunter. So we're going to get to another Shadow Ball. Oh, he actually switches. Oh, we get this. Okay, so we're going to switch into Azu. That was a really late switch. That's okay, though. We got a bunch of energy on Haunter. And I remembered for a sec that, like, with this moveset that we have, you actually get walled by Wigglytuff. So you don't want to stay in with Wigglytuff versus Haunter. Just because Wigglytuff is a normal type, so that means you do lose. This Wigglytuff's gonna wreck shop though. It has Ice Beam Play Rough. I am not going to shield. This sounds risky, but I'd rather have a shield on I'd rather have an Amok with a shield. Unfortunately, we're gonna get charmed out. No, actually we can get Ice Beam off. If Azu lives, Azu does not live. I should have waited at the clock, but this is alright. Because Wiggly's gonna wiggle anyway. Hopefully we can get to a Sludge Wave. We do get to a Sludge Wave, fire off the Sludge Wave, and Wigglytuff goes down. Like I said, you could have Sludge Bomb on your Haunter, but if you do have coverage against Wigglytuff like Alolan Muck, you're Gucci. You don't have to worry about it. And we get a Venusaur. Okay, so this isn't that bad. Okay, so I'm going to get to a Sludge Wave, and then I'm going to nuke you. Okay, that was the game plan, but you know, we got a shield, so we're good. Woo! Okay, so we know here we have both. I think we got Bloat Shield. So we got Bloat Shield. So he's going to switch to Sludge Tank, but we have energy for a Shadow Ball. So this is perfectly fine. We Shadow Ball, and we're going to do heavy damage here. Yes, this is resisted, but watch what happens. See, he's almost dead. We should be able to just, get a Shadow Claw down. And then we get Shadow Ball, and we get the W. Bam! And that is how Haunter is such a phenomenal lead, even though you technically have a losing lead. Like would you split here with Skuntank. We Shadow Ball down, we still have 2 Mons, I still had energy on Amok, and that's GG's. As you see, Haunter in the lead is incredibly powerful as long as you play it well. And like I said, as long as you can cover fairies, you're pretty good, so you don't have to worry about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, it's really up to you. Sludge Bomb isn't the wrong moveset. However, Shadow Ball and Shadow Punch, if you play it well, and like I said, if you cover fairies with your back row, you should be okay. You guys have a great day. I'll see you on the next video, which will be tomorrow. And let's see, I might cover something on Halloween. I might not, but here we go. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good